Greg Popovich doesn't draw up pick and rolls in high tops. And you don't see Bill Belichick marching the sidelines in shoulder pads. But have you ever looked in a baseball dugout? The guy in charge, he's in uniform, just like all the players. In fact, look at any other sport across the globe. This situation is specific to baseball. So, quick question. Why do baseball managers wear uniforms?
Why do managers wear uniforms? I don't know.
Apparently, these guys don't even know their own dress code. So let's dust off the manager lookbook. The role of manager has changed a lot since the late 1800s.
Baseball managers were not always called managers. They were first called captains. The manager was the fellow who was selling tickets, who was arranging transportation, and evolved into what we might term the general manager or a business manager today.
Captains, on the other hand, used to set the batting order and make pitching changes, but they'd also play the field, swing the bat, and even pitch. They were a part of the team like any other player. Cash-strapped teams use captains as a clever way to save money on salary. 2 roles, 1 job. So it made perfect sense that they would wear a player's uniform. Captains later became known commonly as player managers, and there's been over 200 of them. Some of baseball's most iconic skippers began their tenure pulling double duty. And this wasn't just the olden days. It happened as recently as 1986.
Pete came back as the team's player manager.
And in 2012, the White Sox almost hired active first baseman Paul Konerko to be their skipper. But let's face it, none of today's managers look particularly eager to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. So with player managers basically extinct, you'd think manager uniforms would have phased out by now. But clearly they haven't. In fact, there have been some managers over the years who broke away from this tradition, donning suits and ties instead of jerseys and cleats.
As the roles of manager and captain began to diverge, and Harry Wright, when he started managing the Phils, wore a dress suit because he was no longer a player, this started a trend that was followed by George Stallings, Connie Mack.
A's manager Art Howe paid tribute to Mack by wearing a suit and straw hat to deliver the lineup card. But by the time the game actually started, he was wearing the A's throwback jersey. So managers haven't always worn uniforms, just most of the time. There actually aren't any rules about manager attire at all. None. Managers could technically prowl the chalk lines in a Hawaiian shirt and Crocs if they wanted to.
What can you tell us about the shoes?
What do you think?
No, not a chance.
Or they could bring back the 3-piece suit, but it might not be the most practical.
I really can't see wearing a Hugo Boss or Armani suit in the dugout. I don't think it's very appropriate to be on a field kicking third with a suit and tie.
Managers need a uniform they can get dirty. After all, could you imagine Lou Piniella throwing one of his legendary tantrums in a pair of loafers?
Talk about a short fuse.
Over the years, some skippers have developed their own sense of style. Some like sweatshirts, others like the pullover or a jacket. Legendary Orioles manager Earl Weaver had a custom-made pocket sewn into his jersey to hold cigarettes. This particular feature played a role in a handful of his 94 career ejections. The secret pocket even made its way onto his bronze statue, where he's memorialized at Camden Yards. It was a different time. Smoking and all tobacco products are definitely against the rules. Take Bobby Cox. He managed over 4,000 games in his career. All of them in cleats. When asked why he didn't just wear sneakers like most coaches, Cox famously replied, "You never know when they might need me."
I think he wore cleats because he go out there a lot to go argue with umps about, balls and strikes safe and out, and he don't want to go out there and the grass being wet and slip around. So I'm sure that's why he used cleats, and he wanted to be fired up all the time.
Bobby Cox leads all-time managers in ejection.
And rumors say he might have even...
Not only can I not testify to Bobby Cox's cup, I do not wish to.
He might have wear a cup, I don't know, but he was a tough man.
Marks has been thrown out of the game.
Even though the player-manager is long gone, the legacy of the captain lives on. The real reason managers wear uniforms? No matter how old they get, they still think of themselves as ball players.